Yo, what's up guys? Chase the Bro here, and welcome back to another Elden Ring DLC build video. Today I'm going to be using a build that makes
Okay. So, check this out, actually. Checking this out. A little quiet. I wonder if I should put it, closer to my face. I think that's probably fine. This subtitle thing is not really doing it for me. Checking subtitles. How's this working? Huh. Subtitles is kind of interesting. Checking. Checking out the subtitle situation. Yo. Those subtitles were way too big. If I make it smaller and put it up here. What about just like right there? Yeah, I think that could probably work out. I don't know if I need subtitles so much. Oops. Guess just along the bottom here, right? Should I put like a... taskbar seems to kind of get in the way. I guess I could just put them up there, right? Yeah, I think that'll probably work out fine. Okie dokie, Pinocchio. So, I think there's a couple things I need to do. I have a... let's just start my servers and stuff here. So, I wonder if that's still running. Is everything still running? I need to turn this monitoring off. It's going to drive me bananas. Alright, that's off. Good deal. Alright, so... Let's check the URL here. Forget what it was. Is it here? Should be. Kind of prefer not to restart it. Oh, Well, it's easy. I should be able to get the URL from here. Cool. Alright, so basically I can just do this. I can see if my thing is running. That does not appear to be running. Let's see if my localhost is running. Localhost is running. So I think I need to probably restart this bad boy. Then I have to reset a lot of stuff because it's going to give me a dynamic URL. Let's see where it is. I don't see where this URL is. It's kind of hard to see. Right here. Alright, here's the URL. I have to do some updates here. So I don't have like a static URL for this right now. But I have that set, and then I should really only have to put it there. But then I have to go to Zoom Marketplace here. Sign in. All right, so now I should manage my apps here. I gotta update these URL right here. I have to update this here. Okay, that's good to go. And then I have to update this here. Oh, gotta get rid of the HTTPS. Okay, I guess not. That's a little weird. Oh, because there's space doy. Okay, and then here. What? Oh, now you gotta get rid of the HTTPS here. Oops. Okay, so that's set. I think those are the only ones I have to update. Okay, so what I should be able to do now, localhost is working. I should be able to put this URL in, and it should go to localhost. Good deal. And now what I should be able to do is go to my auth endpoint, invalid code parameter. Oh, I had this issue before. Oops, right there. That's what it is. Okay, so now I should be able to go to my auth endpoint. Hello. That's good, and then I should be able to go to auth. What the heck? Invalid code parameter. Maybe I have to restart the server after updating here. Auth 404. Invalid code parameter. Let's check the code. Console.log code. Hit it. We'll see. Code is null. This is all set. It should all be working now. Why would this not be working here? Let's check out the search params. Search params. Oh no, hold on. I know what's going on. Okay, so Actually, you don't go to the auth URL first. You go to the auth install URL. So it should be, yep, there we go. And then it should open Zoom. Should go to the, yep, launcher. Open Zoom. Right here. And then we got it. Then I can sign in like this. Boom. And it goes to my app. Nice. So we have an app actually running in Zoom, which is baller. Apps running in Zoom. So that's like the number one thing I needed to figure out previously. Is actually get an app in Zoom. We got it. Pretty tight. And it's using Next.js, which makes my life about a billion times easier because I have years of experience in Next.js. So a lot easier for me. Okay. So that's good. So now what I need to do, I don't know if this is the right board. It is not. Okay, so we'll go into sales meeting recap. Okay, so here we have our tech discovery. I didn't finish this. I'm actually gonna get rid of these here. And so we'll just have these up here. And then we'll just like call these say tech discovery up top here, and then we'll just call these notes. And then what we'll do here is we'll define a feature stack. So what I want to do here, just to make it a little bit easier to conceptualize the pathway I need to take and to actually break out tasks, is I need to figure out fundamental things, like sort of like a pyramid, like what's the baseline thing that everything is gonna need, and then kind of move up from there. Like, I guess like a pyramid in a way, but like what's the one thing that everything relies on, and then one step up, what's the one thing that everything else except that thing relies on, and then one step up, like what are some things that rely on these two things to be there, and then keep going up. So we can kind of we want to build our foundation first and figure out how we build, continuously build up, so that, you know, we don't want to start with, for instance, we don't want to start with configuring the AI agent, because there's no AI agent built. So we want to make sure we have that AI agent built as, you know, a foundation, so that we can start building out configurations. So we'll start with a square down here. What's the one thing that everything in the application is going to need? It's going to need voice capture to transcription. No, voice capture to audio file export. That's what it is. So voice capture to audio file export. I think Zoom has some stuff right now. Make that medium. So this is the baseline of what we need. I think Zoom I think Zoom does have like an integrated AI thing, but I don't know. I gotta see how much customization that is. Let's go check that out now. Check out Zoom developers. Zoom transcripts in 5 lines of code.
Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to show you how to get Zoom meeting transcripts in just 5 lines of code using real-time media streams and the RTMS Node.js SDK. So to get started, first head to our docs and make sure your app has the right features. Click here to add RTMS features to your app, and you'll see docs on what you'll need. You'll need an event subscription for RTMS's started and stopped events to notify your app when media is available in a meeting. And you'll also need a scope for the media format that you want. In this case, we're only going to want transcripts. So for this tutorial, I've already created this app. I've created an app and called it RTMS Quick Start.
Okay, so one of the big problems that we found in the discovery session is that the Zoom transcript creator is not particularly accurate in a lot of ways, and it has some weird behavior where, like, if the conversation starts off with going to a cruise to Hawaii to build rapport with the customer, the rest of the transcript seems to be influenced by that context, and so it ends up coming out not correctly. So what we'll need to do in that case is we need to make sure that we can also get an audio file, and I don't know if we use, because it's using Claude. I think what we need to do in order to increase reliability of the transcript is to run the audio file again on our side and make a comparison. Zoom does give transcripts, but they end up not being good. So that's kind of a problem. So we need the audio file because we need to be able to customize. This is already running it through. Let's first watch the rest of it. I think it's running it through.
And I've added an event
AI
subscription
already
here, and with the right events for started and stopped. You'll also see here that I've added the meeting transcript scope. This is all that we're going to need. We'll come back though for our client ID and secret. So to get started, we'll create a new project. And we're going to create that as a new node project. Then we're going to install the Zoom RTMS SDK. What the SDK is going to do for us is handle those incoming webhook events and connect to media streams on our behalf, making the access to transcripts really simple. So let's open this up. When we open this up, you'll see we have a package.json file. This is our boilerplate from that Node app. We're going to want we're going to want this to be a module to use ES modules. And then we're also going to want a new start script. So we're going to add a new start script here, node index.js. And we're going to want to add that to load up our environment variables from a .env file that doesn't exist yet. So what we'll do here is do dash env dash file equals .env. Save this, and what we have now is a start script that loads in our environment variables and runs our file. So create that .env file, and what we're going to want to do here is add ZM client. Actually, it's ZM RTMS client equals and ZM RTMS secret equals. Awesome. So here we're going to drop in our client ID. And we're also going to add in our client secret, but I don't want you all to see my secret. So I'm going to move this over here, drop this in, and
this is assuming that you haven't already built a web
cool.
app. Or,
and when that RTMS session is joined, we're going to want to handle the transcript data that comes in. And so if we do RTMS/on, we'll see that we have on audio data, on video data, but what we want is on transcript data. And that data is going to give us data, size of the packets, timestamps for that data, and metadata from the user and meeting in the meeting and the users in the meeting. All we're going to do here is actually just console log our transcripts. So let's do there and take this back. Cool. So all we're going to do is we're going to console log the, what is it called? The metadata. Sorry. So metadata dot user name and data. Perfect. And this is going to send that transcript to our server when it's ready. This is all we need. So if we run back into our terminal, we'll run the app with that start script we created. And this is going to open up a listening event for our port on 8080. But Zoom webhooks need to deliver to an HTTPS endpoint, which our local server is not. So for this, we're going to use something like ngrok. In your terminal, run ngrok HTTP 8080, and it'll bring up a URL for you to copy in and use as a forwarding address to your local tunnel. Go back to your Zoom app here, and under your event subscription, make sure this destination is added here as your event notification endpoint URL.
Yeah, I've already done all that.
Otherwise, we should be all set. You'll notice here that the app is now installed for this user. So go ahead and install the user, and under your account settings, in your user or account-wide settings, under Zoom apps here, you can also set the app to auto start when a meeting begins. And we're going to use that today to show you here. So now that our app is running, we're going to launch a meeting. You'll see here that our application received that client ID, received the meeting RTMS started event, initialized, connected to the stream, and now is ready for us to start sending data. So if I start speaking in the meeting, you'll now see that transcripts are being sent to our server. And this is going to be isolated to each participant in the meeting, giving you metadata and speaker timestamps with a diarized timeline of who said what in the meeting. So if I start saying funky things like, I walked into a burning ring of fire, I went down, 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 and the rains went higher.
So this is real time.
You'll notice that this is really valuable data for us to be building on. And it only took 5 lines of code for us to get. But what if it was even crazier? What if we did something, what if we didn't necessarily need it to be, readable? This is actually really, really straightforward. Let's stop our meeting here. So we'll close there. We'll stop the meeting. And now I'm going to show you how to do this in just one kind of crazy, but usable line of code. So here, what if we did import R from Zoom RTMS, and on that webhook event, identify the payload as P, and on transcript data from the from RTMS, we just logged that metadata's username and the data, and then joined. Here, let's run this again. This is one, some would say beautiful, others would say unusable line of code. Let's start our server there.
This seems pretty
Restart
good.
our application. You'll see this data start to come in. We'll unmute ourselves and start saying things like, in a world of steel-eyed death and men fighting to be warm, come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Thanks, everyone. Hope this was helpful.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that I think maybe some of the stuff that people are using are probably taking the audio file and actually doing a bunch of stuff and all together, but this is actually allowing people to, that this is actually making it so that it's being transcribed little bit by little bit, so it's not using context to warp the transcription data or anything. It's actually just getting exactly what people are saying. So that's pretty tight. So that means we don't need the audio file export, although that might be useful for the user. So that way they can listen back in the meeting potentially. No, that scope's that's too much scope. So what we actually just need is we need transcript string data. We just need the transcript string data. That's it. All right. Via Zoom webhook. Okay, cool. That's where we start. Now the next level up, what we need to do is I wonder if it should be processed. So the problem is that I think if you send like the entire transcript for the AI to try to make sense of, I think that's probably a place where the extraneous context is being applied. So I think maybe we need This is an interesting problem. I guess, what if we just took bits and pieces of it I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think, do we submit pieces to the AI of the conversation as it's going? That might be the best thing instead of Man, I'm really tired. I've been fasting for almost 26 hours now. 26 hours. um hmm. So either way, no matter what we do, no matter how we decide to use the transcript as it's coming, we need transcript storage. So we either need to send it, send it to a database or store it in the client. If we send it to the database, that means we're going to grab the transcript and then throw the whole transcript into the LLM model to find what we need from it. Or if we store bits and pieces of it in the client, and then probably don't want to store the whole thing in the client all the time. That doesn't make a lot of sense. It would overload the client, especially if the meeting's really long. It would actually probably make sense to take a certain amount of the transcript, send it through the AI model, get JSON back based on whatever parameters that we want to send it through, and then continuously send that JSON to the database and update. That's a lot of rewriting though. I don't know. That might be, we'll have to look at all the trade-offs there. But regardless, we're going to need some sort of transcript storage. We need database stuff. DB client. And then from there, once we have the actual transcript, we need AI LLM connection and data funnel. I guess we use orange for this. Okay. And just so it's a little bit more easily visualized. So here we'll just make a connection just to visualize like this, like this is a requirement for both of these, and this is a requirement for this. All right, and so figure out transcript storage. Then we need a AI LLM collection funnel, data funnel, to process the transcript. And then here, once the transcript is processed, we have our storage. So actually, we're going to set this to temp transcript storage. And then no, just transcript storage, that's fine. Now we have our storage set up for how we're going to hold on to the transcript. Then we need a way to process the transcript and update it or send it to storage. We'll figure out how we go about doing that later. And then once we have a way to process the transcript and to store it, now we need a way to customize AI processing. So AI processing, user AI processing configs, key terms, customization, key term, phrases, customization. So once we actually have an AI connection to process the data, then we need a way for the user. Oh no, that's actually later. We don't actually need that's later. So hold on. We need a step between that. Actually. So here, put this to green, put this to yellow. All right, so before we have the user be able to do things, we need to sort, organize transcript into medpic model. Okay. So once we are able to get the transcript from Zoom, we're able to store the transcript, we're able to process the transcript, we have a connection to something to process the transcript, then we need a way to process the transcript into the medpic model. And just a basic way to do it, just scaffolding, so that and we don't have to have like really complex rules here for like key phrases and stuff. Like this is going to be the D part of the medpic, so we don't have to have specific rules for that yet. And then after we're able to actually after we have the tunnel, then we could actually use that data funnel to the AI computation with medpic rules, just our own set rules, to get the desired values back. And then once we're actually able to tell the AI how we want the data to be organized, the transcript data to be organized, then we want the user to be able to customize how they tell the data to be organized. So that's after that. And then once the user is able to tell the data or tell the AI model how they want the data to be customized, set this to orange. Then we want to set up a SMTP email of transcript data. Then we want to make sure, then we want to connect our application via SMTP to auto email the transcript data. Once it's been processed, and once after we figure out how to get the user customization, then we want to be able to send that customized data to SMTP. And then once we have a basic connection to SMTP, then you want to customize email transcript recipients. We want to give the user a way to either set that everybody in the meeting gets the transcripts, or just, you know, people with certain roles or whatever. So this is going to be like, I can actually set this as, I can actually make this into like a pyramid to make it a little bit more, make even more sense when it comes to how I'm thinking about this. Hold up. My lines are squiggly now. See if we can get these babies lined up here. So this should give a pretty good idea of, hold up. Okay. This should give like a pretty, I actually want to make this a little bit nicer. Hold on. Okay. This should give you a pretty good idea of how I'm approaching this. So as you can see, this is all of these things here require this. So that's kind of wild. So that's kind of, does that just happen all the time? Holy crap, that's cool. But this is the foundational feature that I need to make in order to build anything else. Then I need to build this for the rest of this. Then in order for the rest of this, I need to build that, and so on and so forth. I guess the SMTP email, the transcript data, doesn't really rely on the key term phrases customization. And you know what that means. Since I just thought about it, this doesn't actually require that. So it would actually be better for me to do it like this. Since these are both kind of at the same level, this pyramid crap is actually like pretty annoying, so I'm not going to do that. I don't think it's particularly necessary. Okay. So here, okay. So let's bring this down actually here. This is kind of a stupid thing to get hung up on, but I want to. So I'm going to. No. I prefer this. That's better. Okay. Yeah, this way I can kind of center that. Nice. So we found that the... Oh, hold up. Hold up. Okay. So we found that the SMTP email transcript data doesn't rely on the user processing configs and vice versa. But customizing email transcript recipients does rely on both of those things being implemented. So those are going to be in the same part of the hierarchy of order of needs, so that all of these things, all of the thing from the top down, everything beforehand, it requires, or everything as we start from the top, like this requires these things require this requires this requires this, and all the way up. So like this requires this, all of that requires this, all of this requires this. And that way I have a really good hierarchy of how to actually build out the application and good acceptance criteria for each step. And then by the end, you know, here, once I get here, we have completed our primary use case needs. And let's say app is used post meeting for review. That's sending the email. Moved into parent. That's from the email. It's fine. This is all basically the same feature. Customized trigger key terms. That's here. Different configurations for different types of meetings. We'll do like probably V2, or I don't know. But user that's falls into here. But it all is requiring medpic. That's where we're going to focus. Okay. So now we have a hierarchy of needs for our development life cycle in order to get from base Zoom app to an app that is actually usable from the end for the desired user. So there's probably a good way to organize this. So from here, I'm going to make a, oops, that's not what I want. No, that's not what I want. I'm going to do a Squircle. And color it the same color as the actual requirement step. And then here is actually, we can just do this like side by side, make it a little bit easier. So here we can use what is that called? Poop. So RTMS transcripts. So here we can use our RTMS transcripts SDK. That's how we're going to be able to accomplish this. That's simple. Transcript storage. These are the things that we need to actually implement to have success for this acceptance criteria. Here, this is going to be kind of a lot, actually. Here we need user profiles, maybe like some kind of OAuth. We need we'll just use MongoDB, and let's call it as MongoDB collections. You need to store the transcript with the user, the host user. And then we need persistent storage. We'll just call this persistent storage. And furthermore, actually, just so it's easier to view in the mobile stream, I'll do this so that I can keep looking at these, and then also the mobile stream viewers can, or the mobile view stream can see this. We did user profiles, persistent storage, and then probably like temp client storage. Okay. We might want to chunk it to send to the AI model bit by bit. Okay, and then this one we need this one's actually simple. I've already built some of this stuff out, but we just need we'll use OpenAI for now. OpenAI connection, WebSocket. That's actually super simple because we're grabbing the transcript in the client, and from the client we can send it directly to the OpenAI WebSocket, which is I've already had that built, so that's pretty easy. And then organize transcript into MEDPIC model. So that's going to be interesting. So we need rules. Organized rules. We might yeah, we'll have to send that to OpenAI, and then, well, and model prompt. Organize rules, no model prompt. Model prompt. That's actually pretty easy to do. The AI does a lot of that stuff, does a lot of work there for us. Okay. And then next, for SMTP, we just need to do like node SMTP server. I already have that built out, so that's actually pretty easy to do. I've done that already. So I did that when I did sharing of documents for GPT Organized. So I already have that built. That's pretty simple. And we're just sending a string, so we're not sending any complicated data. AI processing configs. So we need config or config UI UX. That's it. Key term config UI UX. Config update UX, so that config so that they can like change between types of clients or something like that if they need to. They want to get more specific, and then customize email transcript recipients, permissions, config UX. All right, I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick. Okay, so okay. So the RTMS transcripts makes this step really easy. That's all we need to get the transcript string data from Zoom. We need to be able to have persistent storage for the transcript, depending on how we depend to go about it. We need persistent and temp client storage. We would probably need both. We need to have user profiles so that we are able to relate transcripts to a user, so that they can, so that it's stored properly and it's like not, you don't. Do we need that? Hold on. Yeah, I think we probably do need that. Yeah, we need to be able to let the user view transcripts in the application. Initially, we're talking about V1 MVP. So I think user profiles, yeah, it's going to be a necessary thing here. And store users, yeah, it generally is. And it'll allow us to build out, but user profiles has to do with storage, and it's just always going to have to do with storage. So that's fine. So then we need a LLM connection, OpenAI WebSocket. I already have that. It's pretty good. Organize rules for organizing it into the MEDPIC model. We just need rules and to make sure we have the correct model prompt for this to work. For sending emails of the transcript data, we need a Node SMTP server. I already have that. User AI processing configs, key term and phrase customization. We need a UX for the user to be able to change the key terms that they want the model to look out for. And then we also want them to be able to switch between configurations based on maybe specific client types. And then customize email transcript recipients, permissions config based on, and configure who, okay, so interesting. So who can get the email, but also we need to make sure that we're able to get their emails, get people's emails. Like, we need to figure out how to fetch meeting in order to send them emails, we need to get their emails. So get emails from participants. So I'm guessing Zoom probably has something for that. I'll have to look, but I'll have to actually be able to get the emails from the participants, and then we can configure it like who receives the transcript. We need to make sure that maybe related to a company or something, because probably I don't know. Maybe they do want to send the potential client the transcript, the MEDPIC transcript. I'm not sure, but we need to be able to let them choose. It'll probably be after the fact too, right? I wonder if we should let them review the medpic thing in the actual application. That's probably going to be helpful. Review and edit it. Might be getting too far ahead of myself. Yeah, maybe review it. Here, probably need to have them review it. Review transcript. So they can see what's actually going on there. Maybe, yeah, probably review and edit. So they know what they're sending their people, because you don't want to just send them whatever. You want to be able to see that it's the correct stuff. And then here we'll do permissions config UX, and then manual send. Yeah, manual send email. So basically we want to make it so, like, excuse me, we want to make it so that maybe they can send it so that it auto sends emails, but also make it so that it doesn't, and they can manually send it who they want to send it to. That'll be simpler, especially in the beginning, because we don't know for sure that everybody will have like the same role in the Zoom or like under like a corporate account. So if they don't have a corporate account, kind of setting us up for the future a little bit. But for the moment, we'll probably keep it simple and have it either set to auto email all participants, or don't auto email all participants, and then have them like manually send the emails to whomever they want to. This should be all the key features that we need to make this app. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all we need. Store it, organize it, connect to AI, create rules and prompts, get emails, set up the SMTP server, have a UX so that they can do configurations and go through the configurations, and then review transcripts and manual send. We'll do edit too. That shouldn't be very difficult. That should be relatively easy. We don't have to get too fancy with it. Review, edit transcript, and permissions, and manually send the email. That's all we need. So our first step is the RTMS transcript SDK. And HomeSlice told us how to do it. I'm so freaking hungry right now. Ugh. I don't know if I want to do this fasting crap. For 3 days. Maybe I just eat like once a day. One meal a day for a little while. I don't know. I hate fasting. Freaking blows. I got so much bullcrap to deal with tomorrow at work too. Yeah, I think I need to eat. Alright, I'm gonna go eat.